Hey everybody, welcome to Board Game Heaven. My name is Raymond, and in this video I'm going to take a look at Art Robbery by Reiner Knizia, published by Helvetiq. This is a game for 2 to 5 players, which plays in about 20 minutes for ages 8 and up. And in this game, players are robbers who have just looted a museum and now will have to share the loot. And in this game, you're trying to get the most loot, but also you need some alibis, otherwise you'll be caught by the police. And the player with the most loot, of course, is the master thief and wins the game. Before I start explaining how to play the game and share my thoughts on it, I'd like to point you towards my Patreon page, because if you'd like to support what I do, which really helps the channel, check out my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. And you can support what I do for just €1 a month or more. And in return, you'll get early access to my videos, access to some Patreon exclusive posts, and your name in the credits as well. All right, let's get started with how to set up the game. To set up a game of Art Robbery, you take all of the cards and give them a good shuffle and then deal 5 cards to each player. So if this was a 3-player game, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For the second player, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For the third player, and they just take those cards into their hand. You don't show them to the other players. You keep the dog token somewhere nearby where everybody can reach it. And you sort all of these tokens into 4 stacks sorted by their color. There's the first, second, third, and fourth raid. So you're robbers, you've committed a raid, and you've got sketches, sculptures, antiques, and paintings. Decide who gets to go first, and then you're ready to play. Let's explain the rules. The goal of the game is to be the robber with the most loot, the most points, of course. Because in this game, you've already committed 4 robberies, and now you're all together dividing the loot. But as thieves do, they steal from each other as well. And the player with the most points, of course, is the master thief and wins the game. But you also need to take into account that you need alibis, because the player with the least amount of alibi points is arrested and they lose all of their loot. So during the first round, you take the first stack, which is the sketches here. You take all 9 of those tokens, and each raid has 9 tokens, and you simply flip them over. And they're basically the same for all the raids. So you just flip those over, and they are numbered. There's the 0, the 1, 2, 3 3s, a 4 and a 5, and a special token, the boss token. Right. So you just put those in the middle of the table, and then the starting player will play a card and take the corresponding token. So for example, I could play the 1, just discard it, and then I draw a new card, take that into my hand, you don't show it to other players, and I take the corresponding token. That is now my loot. So then the next player, they also play a card, and they can take a card from the stack as well. So let's just say they're gonna play the 5 here. They're gonna play the 5, discard that card, they take the 5 into their loot stack, and they draw a new card. And just take that onto your hand. As the third player's turn, they will play the 4, for example. They take the 4 and they draw a new card. Now, as you've noticed, there's a couple of special cards in the game as well. First, there's the guard dog card. So if you play the guard dog, you can take the guard dog token over there and just place it in front of you. And then whenever another player would steal a token from you, which you can also do, and I'll explain that in a bit, they can instead decide to give you the guard dog token. And then that player has the guard dog. So that's what the guard dog does. But also, if I play the guard dog and another player already has it, I can steal the guard dog from them. There's the greedy thief, and when I play the greedy thief card, I can take a single tile of my choice from the middle of the table, so only from the shared loot. I cannot use this card to take a tile from another player, but I can take whatever I want, even the boss token. And then there's the boss card, and that means if I play this, I can take the boss tile either from the center of the table or from another player. And at the end of the round, I can only keep it, and it's worth 5 points, if I have either a 4 of a 5 or a 5 as well. So if I have this token, it'll be worth 5 points. It also says 5 on there, but I'd need the 4 or the 5, and there's only one of those if I want to keep those points. Otherwise, it's simply discarded and I lose it. So play goes on like that. So it's back to the first player. Maybe they want to have the boss token because they do have the boss card, but they want to get, you know, some insurance first. So they're going to play the 5 and they're going to steal the 5 from this player. And they don't have the guard dog yet, so I can just do that. And even when they do have the guard, they can choose to either give the guard dog token or just let them take the 5. So then I draw a new card. That's the 0. Now the 0 isn't worth any points, but as you can see, this tile has 2 white dots on it, and those are the alibi tokens. So it's good to collect those as well. And the first robbery only has 1 tile with alibis on it, and the second will have more, and the third and the fourth, and so on. So now maybe this player wants to get that guard dog, so they'll just play the card and take the token. Then the next player is up. Maybe they draw a new card, of course. They want to play the boss because they want to have that boss token. So they take that token and draw a new card. And that's basically how play continues. So once all the tokens have been taken, so let me just play this. I'll take this for the alibi, which is great. I'll take a new card. This player wants to have, you know, something they can use. They have a 2, so they could still take this. They don't have any 3s, but maybe they just want to have the 5. So let's just play the 5, and they steal the 5 from me. And then they draw another card. Hey, they got another guard dog. That's cool. So now this player is up. Maybe they just want to play the 3. Let's just play a 3 and take that token. Draw a new card. Now it's my turn. I still only have 1 point, so I need to get some points. So I'm going to play the 4, steal this, and maybe prevent them from scoring the boss tile. And I draw a new card. That's good. I can steal the 5 as well later. So now this player is up. Let's see. They could play the 4 and take it back, etc. But they're going to play the 2 for now and take this, draw a new card. That's also good. They can steal the alibi from me. This player is going to play a 3, take that, draw a new card. I'm going to take the boss token from this player. They don't have the guard dog, so I can just steal that and draw a new card. That player thinks, well, I need an alibi. I'm going to play the 0, steal the alibi, and draw a new card. Now it's this player again. They're gonna, well, they could end the game by taking this one, but they want some more points. They don't, yeah, they could play a 1 or a 2. So they're gonna play a 2 and steal the 2 from this player. This player thinks, well, I could let them have it. It's just a 2, but still they'd have a lot more points. So I'm gonna hand them the guard dog. They're not gonna take my 2. They're gonna get the guard dog. And then they draw a new card. Now it's my turn again. I want my alibi back because they don't have the guard dog anymore. I can do that. You know, I could do it anyway and just see if they want to give me the guard dog, but now I'm sure that I can have it, so I play that and take it back. Now this person is up again, and they're gonna play the guard dog and steal that back. I want to protect their loot and draw a new card. This player is up, and let's just say they're done. They're gonna play the greedy thief and take any card. They don't have the 3, but with this card they can steal this one from the center of the table. That means the round is over. So this player has these tokens, 7 points. This player has these tokens, which is 9 points. And I have these, but I do have the 4, so I get to keep this. So that's 10 points. Plus I have 2 alibi points. So I've done very well in this round. And of course you can openly see what every player has, so you can anticipate what's going to happen. You can steal from them. And then you play the second round. You just open up these tiles, put them open on the table. Now you can see that also the 1 has a dot, which means this is 1 additional alibi, and again the 0 has 2 dots. So you play this until they're all gone and you divide that loot. Then the third round is up. Again, same thing. There's another alibi here on the 2, so that's the only thing that changes. Now this does have a strange, I think that's a printing error. This has 2 bosses and no 5, and one is slightly bigger than the other. And I believe that to be a misprint. I have seen a response from Helvetiq on the Board Game Geek forum that they will, in a new edition of the game, when it's reprinted, will fix that. And the reason I think that is not intentional, that is an error, is because the boss card rule shows only 4 bosses, 1 in each color. That's 1. And it also says, when you play a boss card, take the boss tile. So, which also leads me to believe that every color, every raid only has 1 boss tile. And at the end of the round, you can only keep the boss tile if you also hold a 4 or a 5 value time from the same round. And since the blue chips don't have a 5, that would be odd. So we just played with the bigger 5, the bigger one here just being a 5, and the smaller one being the boss. So I believe that is a typo. And then after that, the 4th round, again, more alibi points, 1 boss. And after all the rounds have been played and all the tokens have been gathered, you count up your alibi points, and the player with the least alibi points is out of the game. They get arrested, they lose all their loot, gets confiscated by the police, and then the remaining players add up all of their points. And again, if you have a boss token, you also need to have a 4 or a 5 in the same color to be able to score those 5 points. And the player with the most points is the winner. And those are the rules for a 3 to 5 player game. It works like that, but in a 2-player game, of course, having those alibi points, you can get arrested because then the other person would automatically win. But in case of a 2-player game, the player with the fewest alibi points has to run from the police, and they lose 10 of their points. So they're not out of the game, they just have 10 less loot points, so they subtract 10 from their total, and then again the player with the most points wins. Should there be a tie, then the tied players count their alibis, and the player with the most alibis wins the game and is the master thief. And those are all the rules. Let's go to my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on Art Robbery by Helvetiq. Let's start with the components. So you get, as always with the Helvetiq games, a nice compact little box which just has enough room for all the cards and the tokens and everything you get with the game. Nice and compact, really sturdy boxes as well, really nicely done, so it doesn't take up too much room. So I like that. I like that you get the little wooden dog meeple that gets passed around a lot, so it's nice that you can easily pick that up from the table, and it looks really cool. You get these tokens, which are the standard quality tokens, you know, cardboard, and you get a bunch of cards which are nice and big, very sturdy, nice quality, thickness, and well, so all of that is very much in order. You get one pamphlet. Well, you get them in different languages actually, but they simply show you the rules of the game in just 2 pages, and they have plenty of illustrations too. So there's not a whole lot of rules to learn. They're nice and simple, and it folds up so it fits in the box as well. Components are just really good. The artwork is pretty cool. I like they have a certain style in a lot of their games that looks quite simplistic. It uses not a whole lot of colors. They have this has a very red palette. So you know, you got your black, your red, your pink, and your white, and that's basically it. And they use that on all their cards. So they have a very distinct design vibe going on, and I quite like that. And the back of the cards has just these green hues. It looks like a painting, of course. And so I do enjoy that. The number cards are very simple. Of course, they just have a number on them, and that's it. So it's pretty straightforward. But I do like the general aesthetic of the game, so that gets a thumbs up as well. The theme is okay, I think. You've got your art robbery. You've done several robberies. You've got, I believe they had like paintings, and it's actually explained in the rules. 4 different kinds of robberies. There's the sketches, sculptures, antiquities, and paintings, right? I mean, that doesn't really come forward in the cards or in the tiles at all. They have a little icon on the back of these tiles, but you basically flip them over as soon as you start that round. There's 4 rounds, and you just see the big numbers, and that's it. So that doesn't really matter. And of course, again, you know, the cards are basically mostly just numbers, but the idea is fun. So there is a theme. Doesn't really matter that much. You're basically just fighting for points with your cards. You're playing cards and you're getting chips and you're trying to steal them from one another. But it does feel, you know, like you're dividing the loot and you're trying to steal from others and get the most points. So I guess the theme does fit the way the game plays. The gameplay then is, I think, a lot of fun. It's very simple and very quick. And you just have 4 rounds with the same chips, and you draw cards, and that's it. And you just play a card to try and get a chip from the center of the table, from the shared loot, or steal it from somebody else. And all you need to do is decide when to play which card. You might have a card of a token that's very desirable, like the 4 or the 5 or the boss token. And you know, you might have that boss card to get it. But when to use it, right? That's really the game here. When to use your cards. Do you want to just go for that token from the shared loot pile? Or do you want to wait until somebody else takes it and then you can steal it from them? Because they already then wasted a card on getting it, and you might play that same card to get it from them. And maybe you have multiple cards of the same number and you can just go for it. And then if somebody takes it for you, you just take it back with the second card you have, and you constantly draw a new card. So you might get lucky and draw that card again and get some high numbers in there. And you also need to decide when I'm going to play the greedy thief and just take whatever I want from the center pile, or you know, when to play the boss and get that boss token, because that is a valuable token, but only if you have a 4 or a 5, so you need to take that into account as well. And of course the guard dog is very cool. You get this token, and when someone wants to steal from them, you get a no, here, take the dog, and then you get that. And maybe you have this card in your hand, and then you can just immediately take the dog back. So that is a lot of fun as well. I do enjoy that. It's a lot of take that. It's just, you know, stealing from each other. You really do feel like a thief. So I really enjoy that. It's also pretty short game. It's just 4 rounds, so it's over quickly. It's just dividing up those tokens and trying to get as most points. You also need to take into account the alibi little white dots. So you need to have plenty of alibis, because otherwise, if you're the person with the fewest alibi points on your chips, you'll get arrested and all your loot is confiscated by the police and you have nothing. So you lose, and then the other players will just check their points and see how much they have. And, you know, of course, the person with the most points wins. So that's pretty cool. I do enjoy that. I think it's a really, really fun little filler game. So that gets definitely a thumbs up from me as well. The replayability is quite high, I think, because it's a quick game. You can play this quickly as a filler game in between games, or you can just play it multiple times in a row because it is a lot of fun. And yeah, it doesn't overstay its welcome at all. So that, I think, is good as well. And it will be replayable for as long as you still enjoy the game, basically. Language dependency, then finally, there basically is no language dependency at all. It's completely language independent. Like I said, you get a couple of these leaflets in several languages with the rules. So that's great. And even then, if there's no language of yours in there, it's easily explained and translated. So you just need one person to be able to explain the rules in whatever language you want. And then you just play, because it's just numbers and cards with drawings on them. So that's it. A very simple game, very straightforward. So no language dependency except from learning the rules. So that also gets a thumbs up. So all in all, pretty good game. Really enjoyed it. And I'd like to thank Helvetiq for giving me this game to review. Very much appreciated. I had a lot of fun with this. I hope you enjoyed this video as well. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps the algorithm and my channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button. That also very much helps the channel, very much appreciated. Also check out my Patreon page by clicking the link in the description below or the icon at the end of this video. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time on Board Game Heaven.